So, this is my podcast for Talk Time. Today's video is about my journey with my own personal near death experiences, one at 9 years old and one at 19. Please enjoy this bit of information. And if you'd like to give any feedback, that would be wonderful. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you'd like. Thank you. Enjoy. I had 2 near-death experiences in my lifetime so far. And I had one at age 9 where I went to hell. And I had one at age 19 to which I believe I went to heaven. Both times, God or the entities or the spiritual being that was in my nightmare-like experiences, they were like dream-like state that I was in, told me it was not my time to die and I had more things to accomplish in life. And this is just a summary of my experiences. Now, my first experience, which I consider a nightmare dream near-death experience, I think it was near death and I did probably die due to the nature of the situation. I had, at age 9, the experience involved me becoming anorexic and nearing 50 pounds in weight at 5 foot 6 inches tall. One of my sisters had stated one day, "I'm going to wake up to a dead skeleton." And I do believe that I did die. Now, it felt like a nightmare more than a near-death experience, but I do believe I went to hell. I was walking through a blackened city. The trees were barren, without any leaves, and pitch black. The sky was black. There were no stars. The streets were black. There were abandoned buildings, abandoned vehicles, no sight of any people. And as I walked through the darkness, I saw a light to the left of me. And after seeing the light, I walked towards it. It was in a building. I opened the door and I saw an illuminated room with smoke and mist. And there were arms reaching upward, asking me for help. They were reaching up at my legs. Just as everything was black, I was dressed in black from head to toe. And the hands and arms tried to grab at my legs. I walked out of this room and building, and suddenly a gust of wind drove me to walk steadfastly toward a cave. As I looked inward, inside the cave, I saw a large, black, boiling tar pit. Surrounding the tar pit were hooded people walking in clockwise direction, and they were chanting. Now, I tried to get leverage so I wouldn't fall into the tar pit by holding onto the cave walls on either side of me, like Jesus Christ, with the arms spread to the sides. Around my neck was a necklace with a tiny book talisman, a tiny little book that was a talisman hanging around my neck on a chain. The book rose in midair while hanging around my neck, and it opened up. It became large, just like a 6 by 9 inch book. The pages began to turn and then suddenly stopped at a certain page. And then suddenly I rose from the ground and began to fly upward into the sky. I rose to the earth. And I saw trees, plants, grass, the wonderful blue sky, the sun. And it was then when I came back alive and woke up from this nightmare, is when I realized that I was in hell. And God, apparently the good God, or the spiritual being, didn't think it was my time to join the afterworld. So that was my first experience. Now, at age 19, I also had another nightmare dream or near-death experience. And at 19, I became engrossed with a binge eating disorder because of all that I was dealing with. At 130 pounds, I could not control my portions. And that's because I was dealing with a lot of issues that I turned to food for comfort reasons. I got really sick. And there was at one point, I think I died in my sleep. And I had a near-death experience. I dreamt that I was walking with my mother through a tunnel, and it led to a room that was illuminated. It was a courtroom setting, and it was all golden. My mother and I sat in our seats. They were fold-up chairs. The room was partially empty, and there were other people sitting. Suddenly, around 6 or maybe 9 tiny, bald-headed angels stood beside a throne and a judge's station in the courtroom. One of the angels was holding a book. The large golden doors opened, and a being that appeared to be, or I interpreted to be God, was being carried on a lift pedestal by the bald angels. They placed God on his throne. He looked human, but his face kept changing into everything and anything imaginable that is alive and dead. The angel to God's left side was holding the book and handed it to God. And then suddenly God opened the book and called my name. He said, Servetka. So I had to walk up to the station and sit on God's right side. I was afraid to look at God because his head was so large and everything imaginable was flashing on his face and head. All living things and dead things were flashing on his face. Then his eyes guided me to look at the book as God turned the pages. As God turned the pages from mind to mind, he said this telepathically, this is the past, not so good. This is the present, not so good. And this is the future. But though God did not say whether the future would be good or bad, I sensed it to be better and positive. And as I looked at the pages, there were moving pictures, like watching movies on each page as he turned the pages. Then I woke up and came back to life. And in this situation, I think I was in heaven. Though my mom, who is alive, was in the dream, it was like a situation between me and this being that I considered to be God. I don't know if it was Satan, if it was Jesus Christ, if it was God, because I was so afraid of him. So since when thinking of these two experiences, which I used to think were nightmares or dreams, and after watching a couple of shows on the internet, such as the Randy K show and another show that had discussed a young boy who was raised by 2 lesbian women, and his connection, his being reunited with God and religion and Jesus Christ and stuff like that, I kind of compared my situation with all these people that were interviewed on these shows, and realized that they weren't nightmares or dreams. They were really near-death experiences, and I must have died. And in one dream, or one situation, I went to hell at 9, and in the other situation at 19, I went to heaven. At 9, I was engrossed with anorexia, and at 19, I was engrossed with a binging problem. And I realized these things that each experience involved a book. Each experience was religious. I went to hell in one and heaven in the other, and each time I was told it was not my time to die. Not in those words, but that was the message I got. Like there was more, I had to accomplish more in life. Now, things have manifested in my life since then, and I have realized that these experiences made me believe there is a God, firstly, and secondly, that both experiences made me have hope in a better future. As I endured a lot of suffering growing up, previous to the near-death experiences that I have come to survive. So, I hope this message gets to the ears and minds of people who may be experiencing suffering with eating disorders and whatever you're dealing with in life, and gives you hope in a better future, and to work towards a betterment in your health and in your life situation. And I hope and wish for you also to have a better situation and a betterment in your life, more positive things coming your way. Just like I'm working towards my own aspirations in life, I hope you are also, and I hope this video motivates you to do that.